Is that all you needed, or do you need more than that?
He just has to go online and fill out the dates for those particular things.
Yeah, he did do that last week.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, I'm sorry, I just now thought to hit record because we needed to record this meeting and also let you know because we may replay it for other individuals. So I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name's Tina Feld. I'm the Director of Counseling and Disability Services here at Centenary College. I also oversee health information. And today I'm joined by Dr. Reagan.
My name is Edward Reagan, and I coordinate student success efforts here at Centenary College. I work with students on all matters of academic support and disability services to try to help them find what they need to make the most of their college experience.
Thank you. Sorry, we've had Joselyn join us. Hey, Joselyn, glad you've joined us today. The purpose of this is to provide an opportunity for people to ask questions that they may need to have answered, they've thought about, or just not sure about. No question is a silly question. College is different than maybe when you went, so we're happy to answer any kind of questions that you may have. So Jenny, Joselyn, anything percolating with you? The other individuals that are on this screen are staff.
Well, one of my questions, Aiden chose not to come in for the source session. He just did it online, or is going to do it online. I know he filled out a bunch of forms last week that Max had emailed him or told him to go to. At what point will he receive his schedule, or does he need to schedule a meeting to set up his schedule and his roommate? When will that be?
Excellent question. Dr. Reagan, you want to address the class schedule?
Sure. The advisors are the provost office is in the process of assigning advisors right now. So Aiden should be contacted soon by his first year advisor. And so my understanding is that the class schedules will be set in early July. So, well, that's just in a few days. So within the next week and a half or so, he'll be contacted by his advisor, and they'll get a fall schedule determined. They'll work in conjunction together to find the right mix of classes that fit his major interest and also some of his other academic interests.
Also, when it comes to roommates, things have changed a bit. And so some things we are not doing as we typically do, but my understanding is it's kind of the same thing with a roommate. The Residence Life is trying to get every bit of information in before July 1st so that then they can begin to assign roommates.
And this is Mark Moe. I'm the Dean of Students. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, so the roommate assignments will be done after the last SOAR session. And so, because a lot of the time when people come on campus for SOAR, they'll find someone that they want to come with. So in a typical non-COVID year, that would be around now, would be at the end of June. In this case, because our SOAR sessions are in small groups or spread out, the housing assignments are going to be going out at the end of July. So beginning of July, they'll register for classes with their academic advisor who will be contacting them. And then at the end of July, they'll get a letter that will have their building, their room number, their roommate, and also their move-in time, which will be a few days before classes start. And so more information on that will all be coming out in July. So I will log off in a moment to let Dr. Reagan and Ms. Felt talk to you guys about counseling and disability services in some depth. But just wanted to remind everyone that this session is being recorded and is going to be posted to all parents. And so if you have any individual questions, particularly about your student or your student's disability or your student's needs, save those for afterwards or send those privately in the chat to Dr. Reagan or Ms. Felt rather than asking them, because we don't want to inadvertently share any confidential information. So just realize that this call will be recorded where other people will be able to hear it.
Okay, some good questions. And of course, I learned some information too, because I forgot that we had spread out our sessions. So it will be a little while unless he finds somebody that they both list on their forms that they want to be roommates. Other questions?
Hi, it's Joselyn. No question. I wasn't sure if this was a student event or a parent event, so here I am.
That's where you're supposed to be. It's open to whomever. But you have a student, correct?
Yes, I have an incoming freshman.
Okay. So any questions that we might answer, any concerns? We may not have all the answers, but we can certainly find out and get back to you or direct you somewhere. There are some things, of course, that are unknown to us, but we are looking forward to having students back on campus in a safe and secure manner. And so, that's our plan. I know sometimes for parents, sometimes will ask me about, I mentioned counseling services where we provide counseling at no cost to students that are enrolled here. It's short term with me, which is 8 to 10 sessions, but I also will have an intern from LSUS, a person who's getting their master's degree, who will also provide counseling to students. And she can see people until the end of the year when she graduates in May. She's currently already working on campus in another office. And so we're looking forward to her joining us as another resource for students. At any rate, sometimes I'm asked, how do students get to counseling, that sort of thing. The primary referral route is one student encouraging another to go to counseling services. If you watch my video, I said, you don't have to have a major mental illness. You don't even have to have a huge problem, because we'd rather prevent things from getting worse than the other way around. There, of course, is still some stigma associated with that. But we are trying to destigmatize that in a way that's appropriate. So many students will talk about, I go to counseling. And so that's kind of how that comes about. The two major things that we address are things like, this is kind of a broad categories, but stress, and whether that's related to, being homesick or, even good stress is still stress. All the transition you go through for college, and the stress of homework and having to kind of make your own schedule, things like that, as well as relationship issues. And when I say relationships, that can be with roommates, parents. It might even be their relationship with maybe somebody in their sorority or things like that. It could also be, a dating relationship as well. Those are the primary things that we kind of work with students on. So.
Yeah, and I assist with those efforts to the extent that I work with students on academic stress and the stress related to exams. I'm frequently approached by students who are perfectly capable of doing the work, but they feel stressed out about their exams and they have test anxiety. And so we talk about strategies for overcoming that. We talk about strategies for being successful in the classroom that are sometimes related to the needs that counseling and disability services provide, and sometimes it's students who may have had accommodations in high school and they learn to be, or they had a supportive environment and they learn to progress through their degree, and they think they have a good strategy now to do well in the classroom, and then they arrive at college and they find it's a very different sort of experience. And some students come in and they may have accommodations, academic accommodations that they don't want to pursue because they want to try something different. And I usually tell them that when you're going into a new environment, a new educational setting, the last thing you want to do is to try something different. If you take medications, or if you are in counseling, or if you have accommodations and those have been successful for you in the past, then continue to utilize those resources. That's what they're here for. And we're here to be supportive in that.
What do you think are the concerns for the two of you when you think about your child going off to college?
Well, having a child with a medical condition, I guess my number one concern is his medical well-being and him having to take care of things on his own.
Right.
I feel confident between the services to receive from his physician and his pharmacy, and then it sounds like you guys are there for them as for the students as well. It'll be fine, but it's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, away from home for the first time, being part of an athletic team on top
Right.
of studying. He has some time management he has to learn quickly.
Well,
Yeah.
I help out with those areas as well. I have workshops and meet with students one-on-one or in classrooms to talk about time management strategies.
And I will say those, most students end up with a fairly busy schedule, whether they're doing work study or they're doing athletics in addition to academics. It's really important to try not to take it too personally when they're not returning your text or your phone calls as quickly as you would like. That's really usually a good sign because it means they're doing things, and we're hopeful that they're doing the things that are advancing their academics or even their, outside of the classroom, social things, athletics, all of those situations. And I will say that all the coaches have minimum GPAs that students have to have in order to play. So yes, I understand your concern because he does have a medical condition. It's not one that we have had. I've been here for 17 years. His specifically is not one we've had before, but we've had a number of students with some significant medical situations. And it is scary as a parent to, because you want to make sure they're doing the right thing. And so we're here to support them. We've had times where students get the flu, and we make sure they have Gatorade, and we have some over-the-counter medicine. If they want to have that, they can choose to have that, because we don't have any medical personnel on campus, but we do have some good places to refer students if they need to, go to a doctor or whatever. Most of them do go to an urgent care center, though, quite frankly. What about other concerns that you may have about, what pops into your head? I had boys, and so, each child is unique, and I had different concerns for each of them. But for whatever reason, mine was about, are you keeping up with what you're supposed to do? And I found out very quickly that they didn't do laundry very often. I sent white sheets, and at Christmas they were a different color. So you might consider gray or tan ones anyway. I don't know how well your children will wash their stuff, but my boys were not great at that. So, and they knew how. So
yeah, I think Aiden will fall into that category as well.
Yeah, and I had one son who just came home with, 20 pairs of underwear because he wasn't going to wash, very often or whatever. So he just kept buying underwear and socks. And so, but that's what he chose to spend his money on. But I was like, this is ridiculous. But then when I was concerned about, they kept up with their stuff. But when it came to personal things, they weren't all, they didn't all have the cleanest rooms or things like that. So but they lived there, I didn't. Other concerns, we've had some other individuals join us today. I'm so glad that you have. I'm Tina Feld, Director of Counseling and Disability Services, and co-hosting with me today is Dr. Reagan, who is the primary contact for disability services, but also works with students from the student success side, helping them be academically proficient and helping them to, acclimate, both of us do, to the college environment where you're not going to school 8 to 3, right? And they have got to do some time management or whatever. So please let us know your questions. You're intentionally, I think they've blacked out everybody but the two of us. So you're free to ask whatever. Of course, if it's really personal, you may want to talk to one of us individually. And also please note that this is being recorded for replay for parents later on if they choose to do that. So what about other folks? What concerns pop into your head, or what do you think about as far as your son or daughter going off to college, or what questions do you have?
Nothing from me.
Thank you. You've been participating and I appreciate that.
Nothing here either. This has been very informative. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. We wish it was face to face, but we wanted to replicate all of the things that we offer to parents and students in our previous summer orientations. And so that's what we're doing here as well.
And I just want to reiterate that we are easily accessible. We're available throughout the week from now until the beginning of the semester. If you have any questions, you can call us directly. Our office contact information is located on the directory on our website.
Yeah.
We're more than willing to meet with you, talk by phone, correspond by email, cell phone, text, whatever it takes. We can even do Zoom conference chats like this if that's your preferred method of communication. We just want you to know that we're here to answer any questions that you may have and to solve any issues or concerns that need to be addressed.
I will say too that sometimes I am contacted by parents. Sometimes, I remind them that I can't do counseling for them, but I will, talk with them about a situation they may have a concern about, and list some options, and we'll support whatever you decide. So both of us are available for that. Of course, I tend to address more of the emotional component, where Dr. Reagan tends to address more of the academic, but we work hand in hand. So we're often working with students together. Of course, I don't tell Dr. Reagan who I'm seeing unless the student wants me to do that and they sign a release to do so. So we keep things confidential.
Absolutely.
But I always want you to reach out to someone if you have a concern, because, as parents, we sometimes sit there and toss and turn, and the student's gotten over it by the next day. They're fine. But we can't help you if we don't know what it is that you're worried about, or you just want to make a comment about, or whatever. We want to support your student and help support your family as you go through this transition. All right, then. We will sign off in just a moment. I do want to remind you that I think we're going to have these every Friday, right, Dr. Reagan? With different hosts and things like that can answer different kinds of questions. So I would encourage you to log on if you're available to do so, to again learn some information and have an opportunity to get answers. But also sometimes as parents, we don't know what we don't know. And so sometimes these sessions can be very helpful with that. So I've enjoyed talking with you all today. Appreciate Dr. Reagan joining me today. And we look forward to meeting you in person, hopefully at some point. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Dr. Reagan?
I encourage you to join us again next Friday. I'll be co-hosting another one of these video sessions with Dr. Valerie Brashears, who's our Director of Integrated Advising, and we'll be talking about integrated advising and academic support.
Absolutely. Yeah, perfect.
And on
All right.
Monday, we'll be doing the session on campus safety. I know that's always a question, an area where a lot of people have questions. So,
Thank you, Mark.
yeah,
What
so
time is that on Monday?
it'll be at noon. So it'll be the exact same link. You can log in any Monday or Friday at noon, and we'll have a different topic every week, well, twice a week.
Okay, good. I wasn't aware of that. Thank you for that clarification.
And
Alrighty.
on July 3rd, I'll be doing chaplain's office and Christian leadership center.
Yes, Lindy, thank you. We're glad that you'll be a part of this as well.
Like from Reverend Broderick, who just joined us.
Yes.
All right, and if you have other questions at any time, you can go to the parent portal, or if you're a student, to the student portal. You can ask questions right there, and there's also a form where you can submit questions for future webinars. So if you want to have a question about campus safety or about integrated advising or about any other topic, you can go ahead and submit that question, and then whether you're there on the call or not, we'll be sure to answer that during our session so that you can play back the session and get your questions answered.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thanks again for joining us today, and we look forward to you continuing to log on and find out additional information, and we're just here to help support your student and your family, and because we want good things for them just like you do. Thanks, and take care of you.
Yeah, y'all have a great weekend, and I hope to see you all next Friday.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Our pleasure.